All right, folks, it's 4 o'clock. I'd like to welcome, well, I guess it's Greg and Suzanne. I'd like to welcome you. I don't believe there's anybody else here. This is a special meeting. Hey, how are you?
Hi. Oh, thanks.
Hello.
Good.
It's funny.
Okay, anyway, it's Wednesday, May 12th, 4 p.m. This is a special meeting of the Board of Selectmen. I'd like to call the meeting to order. The purpose of this meeting is to discuss and approve the fiscal 22 budget adjustments to comply with Prop 46. This is based on figures that were developed last night at a special Board of Finance meeting where we were required to cut the general government budget by $16,100. So I'm going to begin. First of all, on page 11, for those of us that have it, it's a health insurance decrease of $9,100. And I will tell you what it was originally and what it is now. Bear with me. Okay. The original request was $182,100. We removed $9,100, so now it's down to $173,000. On page 23,
You're more than halfway there.
Decrease for the tree warden. And that's $500. So the original request, or the original approval, if you will, was $2,500, and we've reduced that to $2,000. On page 24, again, tree maintenance and removal. The original approved amount was $50,000, and we've decreased that to $42,000. So that's a reduction of $8,000. On page 26, under contractual services, the original approved amount was $1,000, and we removed that $1,000, so we're down to $0. In Coatney Hill contractual services, the original approved request was $28,000, and the current request is $26,000, so we removed $2,000 there. On page 28, we have under community kitchen, which is the program at the Hill Church. We originally had allocated $1,500, and we're removing $500, so they're down to $1,000. I might add, last year it was $750, so they still got a pretty good size increase. The libraries, last year was $100,000. This year we had approved $115,920. We removed $5,000 from that, so the libraries now are $110,920. In the Arboretum Committee, last year was $6,000. This year, the approved request was $7,000, and we've removed $1,000, so they're getting the same as last year. It's $6,000. The total decrease is $27,100, and then we have added increases. The Board of Selectmen, Town Council, we increased $7,000, and the assessor legal increase was $4,000. And the reason for that is we've had a variety of legal issues this year, so we thought it was appropriate to add that. So the total increase is $11,000. So the decrease of 27.1 and the increase of 11,000 means that the total adjustment decrease is $16,100, which is what was requested by the Board of Finance last night. Are there any questions on these figures? Uh, Any,
No, I mean, obviously, we're at the point where you've got to start cutting where it hurts, and that's really all we can do.
Greg, do you have any questions or comments?
Yes, Jay, thanks.
Yep.
I support what you've outlined here, as far as making the cuts. And I think, the health insurance decrease is a good example. That actually, the bill decreased because of a change in personnel or something like that. The health insurance was a decrease in the premium, so that helps a lot, right? So
Yes.
and then the other ones, all make sense to me. The one point that I want to state on this whole situation, though, is I'm not distressed. I'm just disappointed that the Board of Education had to take $16,100. That money will not be able to be going to the schools and to serve the children of our town. I'm not saying that we should have absorbed an additional $16,100, but I'm just thinking that the Board of Finance, I wish that there had been a way for them to figure out how the Board of Ed wouldn't have to cut. They could have thought about taking money out of $16,000 out of the general fund and giving it in, so the Board of Ed didn't get cut. That I just want to say that I stand by my support for education, as you all know, has never wavered ever since we've lived in this town. From the old battle for the middle school and budgets, up and down the highway here. I have supported education, and I still do. Public education. So I just wanted to say that, and hope that they can find a way. I'm sure that under Megan's leadership, that they'll find a way to absorb the cut with the least amount of pain as possible. And same for us. So I'm just satisfied with the way things worked out on our end. But just having that feeling, that's really disappointing about cutting education. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, you know what, seriously, I think we all agree with you. However, the reality is that we had to make a cut, and the Board of Finance determined that it should be shared equally between general government and Board of Education. And I understand, I agree with you. However, the issue that you mentioned about the general funds is this is an issue that comes up every year. And there are certain people on the Board of Finance that feel like every year that's the answer to everybody's problems. The problem is that we're not putting money away. You can call it whatever you want, our rainy day fund. And the example I give is if your great-grandmother passes away and leaves you $1 million, that's wonderful, and God bless her, but you keep going every year into that $1 million, and you chip away at it, chip away at it, chip away at it, and all of a sudden you go to that fund and the money's gone. Where did it go? And this is the problem with other towns, where you go to the general fund and you take a little bit here, a little bit there, and then all of a sudden, where's the money gone? Well, you chipped away at it and you don't have that money anymore. So that's been my concern all along with using the general fund to bail us out of the current situation.
Can I add to that?
Sure.
So Greg, just so no, he's not even on this. So just so that you're aware, you were at the meeting last night, I believe, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So we are still overall taking an additional 700,000 from the general fund. Because basically what happens when we look at our revenues, we have some overages from what we budgeted for revenues in this current budget. If we collect more than we budgeted, that amount goes under an over column, which already helps support the new budget. That was over 300,000. And then going to 1 mil at the 1 mil increase, still leaves us short 386,000, which is coming out of the general fund. So at the end of the day, when you combine those two, we're still taking over 700,000 out of the general fund. So I don't think it's unreasonable that the board had to go back and take away, 16,000. Maybe they could take it out of some place that won't hurt as much as, with the teachers or something. Maybe there's some different types of ways that they can figure out how to save money,
Yep.
through materials or supplies. But, we
Yep.
keep getting close to not replenishing that general fund. And like I stated last night, over the last 3 years, we've taken over 2.6 million from the general fund to help support the past 3 budgets. So
Right.
we keep
so
doing
the
that. It's not good for the town.
So the people realize that that has been done, and that afforded there to be budgets approved that had no increase in the mill rate for 3 consecutive years. So
Correct.
this is the year that, as they say in the banking world, the note comes due. We have to pay. So so at this rate, what's the mill rate going to be?
Well, they're potentially starting with a proposed 1 mil increase, so it would be 25.5. If the budget does not pass on June 3rd, then we will have to go back and make some serious cuts. So I think the
Right.
consensus was, as much as we hate to do this, we have to let the townspeople make that decision. We got to let
That's
them
right.
see if they're willing
Okay.
to pay for services.
Yeah,
And-
that's exactly right. That's right.
Last night also, when Mike asked if there were any comments, and Chan said, he basically said what I've said all along, that, he thought it was irresponsible, as did I, last year to have a 3rd year in a row of a flat rate. I thought it was disingenuous, and I think it was unfair to the taxpayers to give them a false sense of wonderfulness that, it's one thing to have 2 years. Karen and I last year, we had decided, we felt it was appropriate to go up 0.7%, and the Board of Finance disagreed. So they kept it flat rate for a 3rd year in a row, which I disagreed with. But as you said, we're paying a piper now. So, they're going to have to, or they're proposing go up 1 mil this year, and we're going to have to wait and see if it passes at referendum. But as you mentioned, and you're right, and Mike said this last night, the general public has no idea what's going on. He said the apathy, and because of that, people don't go to meetings. They don't read the tally sheets that are posted on the town website and that sort of thing. So they have no idea what's going on. But they, but then, oh, my taxes are going up. I'm going to vote this down. So I think they're misinformed, but it's out of their own ignorance, if you will.
Yeah, well, what? Yeah, okay. I think the only thing I come back with is that to help resolve that, to make a step in the direction of resolving it, is that maybe it's time that we created a town newsletter, and then it can be our publication. You can put something in there. The Board of Selectmen can put something in there. We can say it can be opinions, and we can put it in there. It can be facts and opinion. We can put it in there and let the people know what's going on. And, we need to talk about that. Find a way to do it and get it then taken care of. Because they don't want to come to meetings, so you could do a newsletter, and you can print it at a certain size, have it inserted into the shopper's guide or something like that, which then gets mailed to every house and PO box and business in Woodstock, because it's zip coded by that, and the message is there. It doesn't have to be that often, but it could be a start with, budget scenarios or something like that. That's important. I think we should do that. And
Greg,
I'll
I think
come
it's
up
a great idea. It's just the fact that we're already running shorthanded as it is for each department.
I know that, Karen, and that's not going to be done this year, but it could be discussed right after we begin the new fiscal year, and get a plan in place and a working group together who would know how to handle this, and then come back to the first selectman and the board of selectmen and maybe the board of finance too, and get the stuff written, edited, and published. That's all. That's a step in the direction of getting over this problem of apathy.
Greg, I'm going to respectfully disagree with you on this topic. At what point do you stop spoon feeding information to people? It's available on at least 5 or 6 different venues. And at some point, the citizens need to take responsibility to inform themselves. You can go to the town website, you can go to the Facebook page, you can see it's in the Villager. There's all kinds of ways to access this information.
The schools send it
And at
back.
some point, the society has to be responsible for themselves a little bit.
I see your point, Chan. I see your point. I think that would be fair to say that somehow the community needs to be inspired, and maybe your comments that you just made, and don't take this as an offense, but you could write a letter to the editor and put it in that publication saying that you don't think this publication should be done because people shouldn't have to be done, stuff like that. So anyway, it's just an idea. I think we should talk about it and see what we can do to get the more people involved. That's all. Light a fire, make them excited about new fiscal year and budgets and programs and things like that are going on, and what we're going to do. So that's all I need to say today. Thank you.
Okay, could I hear a motion to adjourn?
Sure.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I'll
now
make the
we need a
motion.
Need to make a motion to approve the adjustments
Oh,
as presented.
okay. As
Right.
I presented them, well, you all said your feelings, but formally, would somebody care to make a motion to accept the adjustments?
Yes,
the,
Jay, I will. I'll do that. I move that we accept the budget with the cuts and adjustments as you discussed.
Thank you. Yes, okay, everybody's in agreement, unanimous. All right, gentlemen,
Okay.
and ladies, thank you all, and what? A motion.
Motion to adjourn, but before you do that, I have a question about tomorrow. There's a meeting as well?
Yes, at 4 o'clock, same time, same station. In fact, I sent you the number that you can call in.
Yeah.
And
I got it.
I think I told you that's going to be if you think this was short, that's going to be shorter, because basically we're going to call to order. I will warn for the town meeting when it's going to be, where it's going to be in the time, and then we adjourn. And that
Right.
again is just a formality.
Okay.
But
Quick
that'll be,
question about that. A quick
Yes.
question about that. You sent me the phone number, but I also need the meeting ID and the passcode. And I think they were different today from last night. So it might be different tomorrow. So can you have Crystal or somebody send me an email with that on it and send it?
Yep. Well,
Please don't send it to my selectman's address. Send it
Greg,
to
I did.
Greg.
I sent it to your personal one. So if you look,
Yeah,
there was
yeah,
2 agendas side by side. So
Yeah,
the agenda for
okay.
tomorrow has all that information on it, but if you can't
Wonderful.
get it,
Wonderful.
please let me know.
Right, wonderful. I looked at the one for today. I didn't get a chance to look at the one for tomorrow yet. So that's fine, Karen. Thank you. You're thinking ahead. Thank you.
You're welcome.
okay, I guess we're all set.
Yes.
Okay.
Need to adjourn. Vote to adjourn.
Okay. All right, we're all in agreement to do that.
Thanks for calling in, Greg.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
enjoy your day.
Take care.
Bye. Thank you.